You ever have one of those moments where you realize you've been doing things the hard way for absolutely no reason? Because that was me the day I stumbled into LOOKSMAXXING videos, and I know if you're here for football content, you're probably thinking, bro, what does LOOKSMAXXING have to do with football? Trust me, that was my exact reaction too. But hear me out, because this actually changed the way I train, the way I play, and honestly, the way I carry myself on and off the pitch. And yes, Clavicular definitely had something to do with it. So a few months ago, I kept seeing this guy Clavicular blowing up all over YouTube, talking about posture, jaw lines, confidence, self-improvement, all that stuff. At first, I thought it was one of those meme things where people parody the gym bros. But the more I watched, the more I realized something weird. A lot of what he was saying wasn't just about looks, it was about presence. And presence is something every footballer needs, whether you're a winger trying to body a defender or a midfielder trying to boss the tempo. You know how some players aren't even that tall or that big, but the moment they step onto the pitch, they look like they own the place. That's presence.
I'm someone who wants to be the best, right? And I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get there. So that's why, I'm seriously considering that limb lengthening surgery. That is more about just presence, right? You walk into a room, people notice, right? You're standing in the middle of a club, you're an outlier, right? Because people will come up to me, they'll say, oh, well, 6'2", that's already very tall. But in terms of percentiles, it's only 91st percentile.
And I didn't realize how much of that comes from simple things like standing properly, breathing properly, and actually carrying yourself with confidence. One of the first things I tried was fixing my posture, because apparently I had been walking around shaped like a question mark. Clavicular talks a lot about keeping your chest open, shoulders back, neck neutral, all that stuff. At first it felt ridiculous. I thought people would look at me like I was trying to model on a football field. But bro, the difference it made in my game was immediate. When your posture is right, your center of gravity feels solid, you turn quicker, you shield the ball better, you win more shoulder-to-shoulder challenges because you're not leaning forward like you're about to fall over. Even my sprinting got better, and I didn't change my technique. I just stopped collapsing my chest when I ran. It's mad how something that tiny changes everything. Then there's the confidence part. This one hit me the hardest. LOOKSMAXXING content always talks about confidence being the foundation of attractiveness, right? But in football, confidence is literally everything. I realized that half the time when I messed up a pass or didn't take a shot, it wasn't because I lacked technical ability, it was because I wasn't backing myself. I was playing small, I was trying not to make mistakes instead of trying to make something happen. When I started doing the things LOOKSMAXXING people recommend, like grooming properly, taking care of my skin, trimming my beard, actually taking pride in how I present myself, I noticed something wild. I started taking more risks in games, but in a good way. I felt sharper, more alive, more ready to compete, not because I suddenly became better looking, but because I started feeling like someone who deserved to take up space. Another thing I took from Clavicular is discipline. This guy posts like he's on a mission every single day, and it made me realize that improvement doesn't come from doing one big thing. It comes from doing small things consistently. So I started treating my body like a project. I cleaned up my diet, fixed my sleep schedule, stretched more, even did jaw exercises for a week, but we don't talk about that one. But the point is, once you start improving one area of your life, everything else kind of follows. My training sessions became more intentional. Instead of shooting 100 random shots, I'd focus on placement. Instead of spending an hour doing fancy dribbles, I'd work on my first touch. It's like LOOKSMAXXING taught me that improvement is an identity, not an event, and that bled into football naturally. The craziest part? My teammates noticed before I did. Someone literally said, "Bro, why do you look taller?" And obviously I didn't magically gain height, my posture was just better, and I carried myself like I actually belonged on the pitch. Even the way opponents looked at me changed. You know that psychological battle that happens before the whistle even blows? when players size each other up. LOOKSMAXXING made me win that battle more often without even meaning to. If you look confident, players assume you are confident. It's insane how much of football is mental warfare disguised as sport. And here's the part that surprised me the most. LOOKSMAXXING made me realize that improving your appearance isn't actually vanity. It's accountability. It's about saying, I'm taking myself seriously. And when you take yourself seriously, you naturally start taking your training seriously, your habits seriously, your recovery seriously. Your whole mindset shifts from, I hope I play well, to I'm built for this. And that alone can level you up more than any drill ever will. To be clear, I'm not saying LOOKSMAXXING will magically turn you into Mbappe overnight. You're not going to watch one clavicular video and suddenly become prime Cristiano Ronaldo. But what it can do is make you more confident, more disciplined, more present, and more intentional. And those things absolutely make you a better footballer, on and off the ball. So if you're trying to improve your game, don't just train your legs and your touch. Train your presence, your mindset, your discipline. Because the truth is, sometimes the thing holding you back isn't your technique. It's how you see yourself. And once you fix that, everything else becomes easier. And listen, if you see me doing chin tucks or posture checks before a match, mind your business.